West Asia is hanging on a knife's edge, even as the US and Iran gear up for critical negotiations in Oman this weekend. Our next story takes a look at the evolving situation and the high stakes involved amid military posturing and hardened rhetoric by Israel and Iran.
The Persian Gulf is a tinderbox. The US has deployed 2 aircraft carrier strike groups, B-2 stealth bombers to Diego Garcia, and advanced air defense squadrons across West Asia. Iran, in turn, has put its army on high alert. It has activated its over-the-horizon radar systems and fortified missile positions along the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, has declared the nation's nuclear program non-negotiable, dismissing US calls to dismantle facilities. Senior officials argue, how can Tehran disarm when Israel has nuclear warheads? Washington is sticking to its stance.
This is a dynamic where the president has made very clear, and certainly the secretary has made very clear, that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. It's just that I think is the focus right now, the nature of what's happened and Iran's current situation.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, back from Washington, demands a Libya-style dismantling of Iran's nuclear infrastructure.
We agree that Iran will not have nuclear weapons. This can be done in an agreement, but only if this agreement is a Libya-style agreement. That they go in, blow up the facilities, dismantle all the equipment under American supervision and American execution. That would be good.
In response, Tehran cautions the US against considering military action, stating that the country will not accept threats or coercion.
Our main goal in these talks is obviously to secure the rights of the Iranian people and to get the sanctions lifted. If the other side genuinely wants to work things out, I believe that goal is within reach. It really doesn't matter whether the talks are direct or indirect. Right now, we prefer to keep them indirect.
Complicating the matters further, recent US intelligence reports suggest that Iran has assembled a team of scientists who are exploring a faster, if cruder, approach to developing a nuclear weapon, potentially achieving capability within months if the decision is made. Iranian officials assert that such disarmament is implausible, especially when regional adversaries like Israel possess nuclear arsenals. This defiance reflects Tehran's commitment to maintaining its defense capabilities amidst perceived external threats. Bureau Report, WION The World is One.
Mr. Peter Kuznick is a professor of history and director of the Nuclear Studies Institute at American University. Professor Kuznick is joining us live from Washington, D.C. Good to see you, sir, and welcome. Why are the U.S. and Iran talking in Oman, and what's at stake here?
Trump has been making threats against Iran. When the U.S. began bombing the Houthi positions in Yemen, he placed the blame on Iran for Houthi actions in the region. So these threats have been loud, they've been direct, and they've been ominous. And so the world is very worried right now that the U.S. and Israel will bomb Iran's nuclear facilities, and that will have devastating consequences and likely produce a much, much broader regional war, if not a world war.
Professor Kuznick, Iran says it is ready for a nuclear deal if the U.S. stops military threats. Is there a likelihood of America heeding or even compromising itself?
We've seen Trump's behavior. Trump is a bully. He's bullying the world now with his trade war. And he especially likes to bully countries that he thinks are weaker. And so is Trump going to deal? You have to remember that we had a nuclear deal with Iran back in 2015. And then Trump blew it up when he became president in 2018. So we had this deal already. Now Trump wants a new deal, a bigger, better deal, he says. Well, the Iranians are not going to grovel. We see the way China has responded to Trump's trade wars. The Iranians are going to be in a similar position. They can either capitulate, humiliate themselves, and grovel to Trump, or stand up to Trump. They're actually maneuvering. They've got these new agreements, especially with Russia. The Russian lower house of the parliament just ratified a 20-year security agreement with Iran. And they've also been meeting with the Chinese. So they're bolstering their alliances also, which is why this situation looks so dangerous right at this moment.
Professor Kuznick, now that you've mentioned it, critics also say that Trump is looking for a new Iran nuclear deal, but it must be better than Obama's. Do you think Trump has set his bar high on this one?
Trump is really unrealistic when it comes to all of this. He knows he has one game plan, and that's bully, bully, bully. And then, go for maximalist demands, and then hopefully compromise. But certainly the Israelis have been urging the U.S. to attack Iran. They want to get rid of those Iranian nuclear facilities. Iran, after the deal fell apart in 2018, has been enriching its uranium up to 60%. Iran is not that far away from having what could be 6 atomic bombs at this point. And if the U.S. and Israel do attack, it's almost certain that Iran will rush for a nuclear bomb. And if that happens, then Egypt, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Turkey will all develop their own nuclear bombs, and we're going to have total nuclear anarchy. We need diplomacy. We need to sit down and find a solution that represents Iranian interests as well as Israeli and other regional interests. This war threats and war mongering and sending more U.S. aircraft carriers into the region and U.S. stealth bombers to Diego Garcia is exactly the wrong approach right now. Very, very dangerous.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. I've been talking to Professor Peter Kuznick, who's a professor of history and director of the Nuclear Studies Institute at American University. Professor, it's good to see you. Thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you. My pleasure.